Thank you very much, Dr. Nigatcha. जैसे कि डॉक्टर शाहीन ने कहा, इनके बगैर ये मुश्किल था. So moving forward with the session, it is both an honor and privilege to celebrate an incredible personality today on the platform of SERM. Her journey has been marked by perseverance, passion, and unwavering commitment to service. Today we come together to recognize and honor her remarkable impact, celebrate the achievements, and express our gratitude for the legacy she continues to build. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ruby Abbasi, such an inspiring and beautiful personality. Please raise for national anthem.
अस्सलामुअलैकुम। कल तक तो मैं भी बड़ी चाक चौबंद थी और आज पकड़ पकड़ के लाई जा रही हूँ, इसलिए कि मैं कल गिर गई थी और बहुत बुरी तरह से गिरी थी घर पे। तो दिस इज समथिंग विच कैन हैपन एनी टाइम विथ anyone. I was born in Hyderabad, Sindh, a well-known family of medical profession. In June 1944, which was a Red Letter Day. Red Letter Day was the day that I was born. And you can imagine कि उसमें क्या हंगामे हो रहे थे, Second World War जो थी वो ख़त्म होने वाली थी. और I was born at that time with lot of शोर हंगामा. I studied at St. Mary's Convent High School at Nazareth College, Hyderabad, Sindh, in 1961. Married to my first cousin at 19 and a half years of age. He was a King Edward Medical College Lahore graduate in 1964. He later joined Army Medical Corps during Pak India War in 1965. Graduated from Liaquat Medical College, Jamshedpur, 1966. Late house job in Peace and OB/GYN as mother of a son and daughter. Civil Hospital, Hyderabad, between 1969 and 70. My mother and my two sisters were the ones who helped me out with that, because they were the ones who looked after my children while I was doing my house job. So it was like my two children were with me, and Ammi was the one who was, and the sisters, they were taking care of them. With two young children, accompanied my husband on deputation to Jordan. That was in March 1972. The third child, Bilal, was born there at the local hospital. And we used to travel a lot, because with three children, it was a fun time that we were having. It was one of the best time ever in my life that I was doing it. Then we went for Hajj also, with 8 months pregnant, third child. And he was born in the local hospital in Jordan on 21st February 1973. He was a breech vaginal delivery with extended episiotomy, delivered by a consultant OBG over there. My daughter's birthday was on 16th July, and later on we had to travel to Hyderabad, and my son, the youngest one, he had viral encephalitis. He was a healthy, chubby, very active little boy. So that's how life changes. So my life changed completely after that. The delayed diagnosis of dystonic and spastic ethetoid, he was wheelchair bound. And his father, Dr. Major Anwar, got himself transferred to Kemari, Karachi from Quetta. And I joined KMC, Sobraj Maternity Hospital. Thank you. In 1977. Initially as resident medical officer for 6 months. Later got transferred to Kemari KMC Maternity Hospital as medical officer, OPD in charge. So I kept working. I was a working woman and a mother of a disabled child and 2 young children who had to go to school and to college. If it wouldn't have been for my husband and for my 2 children, I would not have been able to work with Bilal. Bilal was my son's name, the youngest one. During Dr. Shesha's term as a MS at Sobraj, I was given the opportunity to conduct survey of 300 women in collaboration with a doctor in Peshawar, topic being domestic violence. And presented her paper, I presented my paper at the National OBGYN Conference in 1997. Failing to find an exclusive center for children suffering from cerebral palsy, I proceeded to London, UK in September 1984 to attend a 3 months NDT, that's neurodevelopment treatment course, conducted at a world-renowned exclusive Bobath Center for Cerebral Palsy. That was a time when people didn't even know what was cerebral palsy. They couldn't even pronounce the word cerebral palsy, including me. But once I had taken my son earlier on to England for his checkup, and the doctor over there, Dr. Bobat, he told me, he said, go back home, leave your child, come back and do this course, the world-renowned course. It was a 3-month course. And he said, you come and do it, go back, help your child and help others. That was the turning point again in my... Anyway, returning in December 1984, I started a first of its kind in Pakistan, an exclusive treatment and rehabilitation non-profit clinic for cerebral palsy. The first anniversary, 1-year anniversary of having Alumeet. Alumeet was the name of my center and still is. Well, it was established as a rehabilitation and treatment center for cerebral palsy, and later on formed the NGO, registered with the Social Welfare Directorate. The first anniversary program that I had, Dr. Fatma Shah was our chief guest. She was a Blind Association, Pakistan Association for the Blind, founder president. When I was going to England, she was my companion on the plane, and we talked non-stop till I reached England. She had to get off. She had to go for another conference. And I was so impressed by her. She was going around with a stick. A woman who did all that. And for me, it was such a big thing that I needed to work. In spite of whatever I was doing, my job, I was a housewife as well, and but all because of my husband and my children, and later on, my daughter-in-law and my son-in-law. They are the ones who helped me throughout, and I was able to continue Alumeet as it is today. As a founder president, the founder members of Alumeet, when I formed the association, they were all volunteers. And all volunteers comprised of a pediatrician, physiotherapist, family physicians, social worker, affected and rehabilitated CP person. He's still a board member. He walks around with a stick, and he's a journalist. He studied, he went to the university and he studied, and he's become a journalist now. And affected parents, most important, was that I had the affected parents in my association, because only the parents could feel, could understand what it was all about. So they were the ones who were there. Later on, this was something which was happening because of Allah's intentions. Suddenly, out of the blue, a normal, happy-go-lucky person like me, when suddenly I had to go through all this. So there were people who were kept on helping me out. They would be coming out from anywhere, not as social workers, as helpers. And then it didn't happen till then. Journey of trials and heartache continued. 18th July 1992. My eldest son's wife, in 37th week of first pregnancy, had eclampsia fits around 2:20 p.m. due to sudden spike in blood pressure. 4 days before that, I had had an antenatal checkup done. Everything was normal. Everything was okay. And then when it happened, she had eclamptic fit. And all continuous, you all are OB-GYNs, I'm sure you'll understand this. Also the continuous labor pains and strong contractions led to intrauterine trauma to the fetus. Now this is the second child. When rushed to the private hospital where she was registered, her consultant was out of country. The locum consultant, OB, was busy at her private clinic. The resident doctor on duty took her own time in moving the patient to the OP theater for emergency C-section. The patient was semi-conscious with continuous uterine contractions. Finally, 3 hours late, so-called emergency C-section was conducted on arrival of the consultant OB and another anesthetist. Because when we asked for the anesthetist said, I can't come before 6 o'clock in the evening. I can't come before that. And this was, and I'm a doctor, and I'm telling the resident medical officer, RMO, please, this is an emergency. Why don't you have your people around? No pediatrician, no anesthetist, no OB on time. So it was like what it was. So emergency section was conducted on arrival of the consultant OB, and the baby girl was born on Apgar 1. I, being a doctor, was allowed to be in the operation theater. So I was standing near the pillar, and from there I'm telling them, please do it quickly. Do the resuscitation quickly. The sheet underneath her was wet, and it was July. The AC was on. So no, you can imagine कि मैं क्या कर रही थी, क्या सोच रही थी और मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा था. मैं मुसलसल सिर्फ एक बात कहे जा रही थी कि या अल्लाह मुझे अलुमीद के लिए दूसरा बच्चा नहीं चाहिए, क्योंकि अलुमीद के लिए ऑलरेडी बिलाल तो था. अब ये था कि मुझे दूसरा बच्चा नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन वो था, जो नसीब में होती है बात वो तो होती है. Clumsy CPR, wet sheet under the baby, air conditioner on, till the pediatrician was called. The baby was put in a non-switched on incubator. Even the incubator was not on. And the baby started having fits as well. Was referred to the emergency of one of the well-known hospital. I'm not taking any names. In the ambulance, me, the grandma, kept doing resuscitation herself as the oxygen cylinder in the ambulance lacked a suitable tube for the baby's nostril. So I was the one who had the baby in my arms, and I was the one who was doing resuscitation for her. The young doctor on duty referred her to another hospital. 2.5 hours after being born, the baby was admitted in a less known hospital, fully equipped nursery by kind and efficient doctor and nurses. But it was too late. She was released from the nursery ICU on 25th day, alive but severe brain damage. As a result of that one, my Bahu stopped smiling. She had forgotten how to smile. So was my son. He's right here. First child. And after Bilal, to have that one also. Anyway, the traumatized newborn baby was being taken to another hospital's neonatal ICU. In the meantime, the anesthetized mother was suffering on the operation theater table. Postpartum hemorrhage, DIC, came dangerously close to her office OB, opting for hysterectomy. My first child, my first Bahu, and they said, we can't do it, she's bleeding so heavily, we have to do her hysterectomy. So I said, please call somebody, call the surgeon or call somebody and do something about it. By the grace and mercy of Allah, the pouring blood was controlled. She had to be given 10 liters of fresh blood, 5 liters of plasma, besides saline and train drips, also pressure bandage on her abdomen. Why I'm talking about all this is, of course, later on, they were blessed with 2 sons, mashallah. And we went for elective C-section. We didn't want to wait for anything. So that's the story of my life when it turned completely. But maybe because of what it was, Al-Umeed has come into Allah has got Al-Umeed there. And all the children who come to Al-Umeed, their parents are the ones who are also there. We do the assessment for them, and then we take them to for the classrooms, because we have a complete class. The beginning, when I came back from England, I was the one who started doing the things, but I was not a therapist, physiotherapist, but I had learned as to what the things I was, in spite of being a doctor, my husband being a doctor, we didn't know how to handle Bilal. But then, when I came back and I started that, we were the ones who were. So, my parents, the parents of the children, I call them my parents, I call them my children, I call them my family, because they all consider me as their mother. All of them, the staff, the teachers, the therapists, the parents, they all call me their mother. And I really feel like a mother to them. So the message now is that why hide these children? Why shouldn't these children be given the chance of being a part of the world itself? So that is why I wrote a poem which said, "Your child needs love. Do not reject him. Do not accept his disabilities. Admit to yourself that he's a special child, and it will be easy to admit to the world that you are the chosen parent. For God Almighty gives this honor to only a few of his loved ones. Do not consider it as a punishment for a sin unknown. Do not punish the child by hiding him in the home. Leaving him in a corner, do not feel ashamed of carrying him around. For everyone cannot do so. You can, because you are the chosen parent."
देखो इन्हें ये है ओस की बूंदें, पत्तों की गोद में आसमां से कूदे, अंगड़ाई ले फिर करवट बदल कर, नाजुक से मोती हंस दे फिसल कर, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर। ये तो है सर्दी में धूप की किरणें, उतरे जो आंगन को सुनहरा सा करने, मन के अंधेरों को रोशन सा कर दे, ठिठुरती हथेली की रंगत बदल दे, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर। जैसे आँखों की डिबिया में निंदिया, और निंदिया में मीठा सा सपना, और सपने में मिल जाए फरिश्ता सा कोई। जैसे रंगों भरी पिचकारी, जैसे तितलियां फूलों की क्यारी, जैसे बिना मतलब का प्यारा रिश्ता हो कोई। ये तो आशा की लहर है, ये तो उम्मीद की सहर है, खुशियों की लहर है, खो न जाए ये तारे ज़मीं पर।
मुझे बड़ी खुशी इस बात की कि डॉक्टर रुबिया अब्बासी जिनके साथ मैंने काम किया और मेरे ज़िंदगी में जो चंद ईमानदार तरीन लोग आए हैं में से एक ये है, जिनकी तादाद बहुत कम है। और जिस हमने साथ स्वराज अस्पताल ने 5 साल तक काम किया है, और जिस मेहनत से इन्होंने काम किया है, और जिस मेहनत से मेरे पीजीज अगर अच्छे हैं तो इनकी वजह से, मेरी वजह से नहीं है। इसलिए कि जो एंटीनेटल कराती थी, जिस तरह से एंटीनेटल में पीजियों की क्लास लेती थी और उनको इंसान बना देती थी, वो सारे डॉक्टर आज शहर के बहुत अच्छे डॉक्टर हैं। वो मेरी वजह से नहीं है, इसलिए कि ये गायनेकोलॉजिस्ट नहीं है, लेकिन ये एंटीनेटल क्लिनिक चलाती थी, और इनसे अच्छी एंटीनेटल क्लिनिक मैंने किसी को चलाते नहीं देखी है। और उसके बाद से हमारा ये हो गया था कि हर साल जितनी मेरी पीजीज हैं, इनको अलुमीर में जाना पड़ता था, और मैं उनसे कहता था कि देखें, एक ऑब्स्टेट्रिशियन की मिस्टेक से या लेजीपन से या बेवकूफ़ी से या लापरवाही से पेरेंट्स के साथ क्या होता है। आप वहाँ जाके देखें, जब सुबह बच्चों को छोड़ने आते हैं पेरेंट्स, तो कितना बड़ा बर्डन होता है उनके ऊपर। तो मैं आपका बहुत पर्सनली शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि आपने हिम्मत की और आके ये अपनी कहानी शेयर की सब लोगों से। तो बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
सर बुके मैडम को देना है, आप ही दीजिए।
इधर इधर आ जाए।
मैडम आइए, मैं आपको लेके चलती हूँ।
ये तो एक ही बुक है, 100 फूल।